What's up, guys? Welcome to Breakfast and Chit Chat with me, your host, Miss Fadzo. Join me every single week for your healthy dose of rants, story times, some good old fashioned advice on business, fashion, and just a little bit of chit chat, maybe a couple of jokes in there once in a while. So let's just get right into this week's topic. Okay, so this week, I asked a question on my Insta story, and I think I got a lot of really interesting responses. So the question was, how do you stop loving someone you know you can't be with, especially when you know that the reason that you can't be together is out of either party's control? So maybe I should just give you a little bit of background information on that question. So, a couple of friends and I were talking about how it's so easy to get over someone if they've done you wrong because you have an incentive. You know what I'm saying? Like, your friends can be like, oh, he was such an asshole. Excuse my French. He was such a horrible person, and this is why you guys shouldn't date, blah, 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 blah. He cheated on you, or you cheated on him, or you guys weren't compatible. When you have an actual incentive, it's easier for you to get over that person. No, not easier, but it's easier to justify it, especially when you're giving someone else advice, right? So we were talking about it, and we stumbled upon this question of how do you stop loving someone when maybe the reason why you didn't work out is either really stupid or it's something that's out of your control. And by out of your control, I mean something like maybe you guys aren't dating because the guy is, I don't know, too short, or you had to move to different countries, or you belong to different religions, or those are deal breakers for some people, but they're not like things like cheating or adultery or beating. And I'm laughing only because I want to remove the seriousness. I know these are really serious things, and if you're in a relationship where someone is doing you wrong, you better leave. There is no shame in leaving a relationship if the person is not satisfying what you need. So back to the point. Let me regather my thoughts. Okay, so I was saying, I asked the question on my Instagram, and I will say the responses I got were really, really interesting. I'll share a couple of the responses and I'll add my 2 cents, and then in the end, I'm just going to kind of summarize it and give my own 2 cents on it, maybe a little bit of experience talking, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm just going to open up my Insta story. I think for now I'm going to keep everybody's name anonymous because I didn't ask if people wanted to be mentioned by their names. But for next time, I'll just make sure I check with people on if they're okay with being mentioned in this podcast. Okay, so the first response was delete his number, photos, and any memories, and throw away all the gifts they got you, and get in bed and cry. I will say she then added saying that if it was me in particular, that I should call her and she'll tell me what my worth is, which I thought was really nice. So thanks, girl. She knows who she is. But my friend replied to that in my inbox, and she's like, if the gifts are expensive, you better keep those things and sell them. Oh my gosh, I need new friends. But she has a point, and I do think that out of sight, out of mind kind of thing works. For a lot of people, actually, it works. So that might be an option for you. Delete his number, get rid of all your photos, any memorabilia, gifts. If you can sell them, honey, sell them. If you want to give them back to him, give them back to him, and just cry. Crying is very, very therapeutic. So let this G go, okay? Okay, so the second response was stay away from them, cut every tie, cut communication. and do that for 21 days. I thought this one was a very, very interesting one because I think they were coming from the point of like you create a habit over 21 days. So I thought that was really, really interesting. A lot of the responses, I will just give a disclaimer, suggest that like you should cut out communication and cut them off and all that stuff, which was really interesting because for me, I feel like the more I cut them out, the more I wonder what could have been. So for me, cutting people out doesn't necessarily work. If I break up with someone, I would prefer a situation where we stay friends because then that way, I think in my brain, there's literally no chance of us ever getting back together. That's weird, but it works for me, but it might not work for other people. So I'm just giving you like another point of view on this whole shindig. The next response was let go even though it's hard, beyond your control, and pray for your heart to be mended. Oh, that's so nice. Again, prayer, guys, you better pray, bring it to Jesus. You better bring it to Jesus. The next response says, learn to love someone else and don't pay attention to them. It will slowly fade away. I agree. But I must add as well, I think you should learn to love yourself. I don't know if anybody else added it in the responses because I've got a couple more to go. But I feel like loving yourself is the first step. Before you even fall in love with anybody else, you should love yourself. Love yourself more than anybody else can love you. And whenever that right person comes along, you'll be whole and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I like that response though. The next response was, you can never truly stop loving someone. Some part of them will always be in you. So the interesting thing about this was that I was literally talking to my mom about it because I asked my mom the same question, and she was saying that's to some degree that's actually right, because the reason why our parents and like a lot of people in the church suggest that like guard your heart, the Bible even says like guard your heart because like that's where your life flows out of, is that the moment you give your heart to someone, and especially when you have intercourse with someone, you're exchanging a lot more than just physical stuff. You're exchanging a lot of spiritual and emotional stuff. And I think I'll talk about that in another podcast because I feel like that's a whole different topic on its own. If you do want to hear me talk about that, or you have any questions about that, just write them in the comment section below, or you can email me on fadzoshouse@gmail.com. Yeah, so that one was really interesting considering that we were talking to my mom about it and they kind of just summed up what my mom was saying. The next response says you can just try and move on and not focus on the past. Ooh, to the left. So they're just saying like focus on the future and just ignore everything that happened in the past. I think I would add here as well is that like you need to deal with your past and realize like some of the stuff is not in your control, and beating yourself up about it won't change that it's happened. So you're better off like fixing yourself and forgiving yourself for everything that happened and moving on to the future and not allowing whatever those mistakes are from stopping you from being an amazing person for someone else in the future. So I like that one too. The next says zero contact, completely disappear from their sight. Don't follow their life or their pictures. I agree. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something, you guys. Okay, I have a story. I dated this guy a couple of years ago. And when I tell you this guy used to post all the time. Like, my G would post on Instagram, he would post on Snapchat. And the thing is, like, he'd even tag me on some of his posts, and I'd be there, like, just crying on the inside. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, so does he have a girlfriend? And whenever he posted a girl, even if it wasn't his girlfriend, I'd be there, like, literally, like, cyber stalking this girl to make sure, like, are they dating? Are they not dating? Should I stop talking to him? Blah, blah. Okay, I'm doing the most. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Y'all, if you can, unfollow these people. Unfollow them until your heart is back with you. Unfollow. I think this is the second from last one. But the next response says, you do your best to live with the reality that it won't happen and find joy in the moments you spent with them. Oh, I like that. That's so nice. I definitely agree with that. I think especially in a situation where you can't be together because of like circumstances that are out of your control, like you have to move to a different country and you know like a long distance relationship won't work, or I don't know, like something that's out of your control. I think definitely just find joy in the memories that you guys had and just focus on that. I think that's so nice. That's really, really nice. And then the last one says prayer and focus on achieving growth and all your goals. I absolutely think this is a great, great, great way to end this. I think if in any kind of heartbreak you have in life, it's important for you to pray and ask for forgiveness for yourself, and even to forgive yourself. It's really important to get to a point where you forgive yourself for what happened and you accept the part that you played in the breakup or in the heartbreak or whatever it is, and kind of focus on the positives that you've learned from there. You learn something in every relationship, in every friendship, in every aspect of your life, really. And I think there's a lesson that can be learned from every situation. You just need to keep praying. You need to focus on your goals, keep growing, and just pursue happiness and growth. That's what I'm trying to do this year. I'm really, really aiming to pursue growth and happiness and purpose and joy and love and peace and all that good stuff. So I think to just conclude this, in my opinion, I feel like the best way to get over a breakup with someone that you were in love with or are still in love with is to focus on yourself. Because the more you focus on yourself, the less distracted you are from focusing on anything else. You're more likely to ignore everything else that's happening with that other person because you are focusing on yourself. And that will give you so much joy because there's certain things that you'll gain back that you may feel like you've lost, and there's certain things that you will appreciate from that relationship that they taught you that you probably could have never learned from anywhere else. So, in conclusion, I would highly recommend that you guys just take time to yourselves. If you can, a lot of people said block them, like air them, like leave them home and dry, like swipe to the left. You know what I'm saying? Like leave them. Like it's not by force. You know what I'm saying? Like just have time away from that person and pray. If it's getting hard and you need to cry, just cry and pray. Also talk to a friend. It usually helps. Usually your friends can give you some insight about yourself. Get you a friend who's like a hype man, who'll be out here hyping you up. You're like, girl, you are too pretty to be chilling with this man's, okay? Or, boy, you is too fine to be stressing about this girl, okay? I love you guys and I really appreciate you for listening to this podcast. I will see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye.